Bologna were formerly one of the biggest sides in Italian football in the early 1900s and last won a major trophy in 1964, lifting the Serie A. And it's been a 60-year barren spell now, but Thiago Motta and his incredible tactics have got them into a Champions League spot in 5th place. And today, after Motta has moved on to Juventus, we are looking to see if we can carry on the rise of Bologna and lift another Serie A. And what you can see, we've already made some Thiago Motta tactics for a Juventus side. Now we are going to be tweaking these ever so slightly to make them a little bit more to my liking, attacking wing backs and strikers that are target forwards. And there is of course some fantastic players in this team, including possibly the best striker in the world, Joshua Zirkzee. He's come to join United, which is massive, but we are going to do this in semi-realism. I say that because we're going to sell the likes of Zirkzee, and I believe there's someone else in this side, Caliafori, that has also just left to join Arsenal. They're both going to be leaving the club. Other than that, we're basically going to be looking to find cheap players in and around Italian football and make them absolute superstars, like Arbscheiker, who had a great Euros with Switzerland, has been sort of around with young boys, 133 games there, had a really good season with Bologna last season, a great Euros, and looks like a great centre-defensive midfielder. And Lewis Ferguson is another one, joined from Aberdeen, is now one of the best midfielders on FM. If you've never used this guy, he's absolutely crazy. I'm going to be doing all I can to keep hold of him because he's great. We've got Orsolini here on the right wing, who, trust me, as we go through this sim, it's going to be a joke. I don't know how he's going to be as good as he is. His stats are very, very good. I suppose he's one of the players that you don't really think of, but with 2 caps for Italy and 2 goals, maybe we should all start paying a little bit more attention to Orsolini. The defence is good. Goalkeeping spot could do with improvement, and of course, we need a brand new striker. In terms of money, there's £7.5 million, £15,000 in wage budget. The balance is okay. There's no debt on the club, which is great, and we're now going into Champions League football as we are playing on an updated database. So we've got 68 points, sitting in 5th place, which in the Serie A, for some reason this season got Champions League football. I don't actually know why. Let me know down below in the comments why 5th place got Champions League. I've sort of read a bit online and just can't find anything, but I suppose Bologna will take it for sure. So Champions League football coming up. We've got some players to sell, some players to buy. So let's get into season 1. So sadly, I couldn't make it fully realistic and get Zirkzee to join United, but he has gone to Barcelona. We managed to get just £17 million for him, which is a little bit frustrating because he's 25 in real life. So it is what it is. We lose £8 million, but Zirkzee has left, as has Riccardo Caliafori to Leipzig. This is only £20 million as well. I believe he's gone for nearly 40 to Arsenal. A fantastic inverted wingback and ball-playing defender, left-footed, so rare, a supreme talent. I'm sure we'll see great things out of him in the Premier League, but they're the 2 big sales, which gave us around £30 million to spend. And my first piece of business was to bring in Nicolo Gambiagni. Now, I'm not sure if this guy signed in real life already or was massively linked to signing them as I'd done this simulation, but he's a striker from Atalanta. Good flair, good finishing, good physical stats. This is who I'm going to be using as our striker, purely to try and keep, again, a bit more realism to the simulation, and then maybe next season, the season after, and if we carry on going past that, we'll get a little bit crazy. But I believe this guy is a brand new signing for them. He looks quite good. 23 years of age, signed from Atalanta. He could be a bit of a bagsman. We've kept to keeping players in Italy, and Coni Di Vinta comes in from Genoa. A good 22-year-old centre-back, 3-star ability, 3.5-star cut ability, room to grow into a good Serie A player, consistent and likes big matches. We've signed Alexei Miranchuk, also from Atalanta as well. He was transfer listed for £3.4 million, and it seemed like too good of a bargain to turn down. He's consistent, likes big matches, left-footed, decent on his right foot, uses his outside of his foot, tries tricks, runs often with the ball. Bargain price, and stats wise he looks unplayable in that cam role. And our final signing, I believe, from Italy is Alessandro Zanoli from Napoli. Just really a backup right back. We're pretty sorted in the right back position, so just £1 million. Italian, so fits the bill quite well, and consistent and likes big matches. We now dip into the free agent market and bring in Marcos Alonso as our brand new left back / rotational backup left back. A free agent signing from Barcelona. Now his wages at Barca, crazy. Here, £12,000. Stats are pretty outrageous, consistent, likes big matches. We'll certainly take that as a free agent piece of business. And finally, our superstar brand new goalkeeper, Kamil Grabara. This guy was unbelievable at Copenhagen, playing against United. I know that very well myself. Went to Wolfsburg. I believe he's been fairly decent over there as well, and now joins us here at Bologna. Incredible in big matches, good consistency, 6'5", wide of opponents, which is just great. Great aggression, bravery, determination, jump and reach, just 25 years of age. Will probably be the goalkeeper for most, if not the whole of this rebuild. He is good enough to win the Serie A. He's probably good enough at some points to win a Champions League if he progresses well. So a fantastic goalkeeper comes in. And now we have as well our updated tactics, a little bit less crazy, to be honest. We've gone with a sweeper keeper on support, a wing back on support on the right hand side, and on the left hand side with Juan, Miranda and Holm, two very attacking fullbacks, both with run wide and tackle harder. Two ball playing defenders on defend, both with dribble more and tackle harder as well. A DM on defend, no further instructions, and a DLP on support with tackle harder, with Abshaiker and Ferguson keeping that DM role. Orsolini, winger on attack. Now, this is the reason I'm so surprised at how many goals and assists this guy's going to get, because winger on attack for me normally isn't very good. He's also going to take fewer risks and tackle harder. Inverted winger on support on the left-hand side, take fewer risks, stay wider, and tackle harder. With the shadow striker in attack in the cam role, tackle harder, and mark tighter. With an advanced forward and attack up front with no further instructions. You can copy that tactic if you like. I don't know how good it's going to be. I've not really, well, I can't remember how well we've sort of done in the first couple of seasons. We're on positive. This is this screen. This is in transition, and this is out of possession as well. For anyone that wanted to copy them tactics, of course, this save file and the tactics are going to be available for you guys to download over on Patreon. And trust me, by the end of this, we're going to make Bologna a super house. So if you are interested in Italian football or a Bologna fan, you're going to want to get your hands on this rebuild file. Patreon link down below, £5 a month. It helps support me out massively. Now, let's get involved to the Serie A, Champions League and Italian Cup. We want one trophy this season and a good showing in the Champions League, so let's see how we can do. Well, for me this season, the most important thing to look at is going to be the Champions League, because it's our first season here in God knows how long, and I wanted to see how well we can perform, and this is just a league phase game against Atletico Madrid at home, and we're going to show how good this tactic is, and our brand new superstar, who we haven't even seen yet, of Odegaard. Now, I'm not sure if he's a brand new signing or was unreal last season. I've got to say, I'm not too clued up on the Bologna team. I might be missing some superstars here, but this guy is an unbelievable striker. Now, I didn't know if that's who he was meant to play. He might be a cam, but Moranchuk takes that spot. Jens Odegaard is absolutely fantastic. Got 2 goals in that one game. Overall this season, 17 goals and 6 assists. You can play off the right as a round zooter, which is pretty cool. He's a attack midfielder or a shallow striker, and up front does the advanced forward role pretty well himself. He is 6'2", so for me is a very odd player, a bit like a Xerxes, a very good on the ball player. Great sort of first touch, dribbling and passing, can link up the ball very well. And for just sort of this price on your saves, this guy could be a great pickup. But for us here, 17 goals and 6 assists, we'll certainly take that. And he put us in very good stead in the Champions League. And we did finish in the 15th place, meaning we are going to the knockout playoff round. 3 wins, obviously one of them against Atletico Madrid. We then beat PSV and Monaco. 3 draws against Bruges, final and AEK. Can't help but feel we should be winning all 3 of them. And 2 losses against Barcelona, 2-0, and against Girona, 1-0. So to be fair, we got quite a favourable draw. Didn't do quite as well as we'd have hoped. But let's go into the knockout playoff round and see how we can perform. And while we were given a fairly favourable draw here as well, we did face up against Besiktas, who grabbed an early goal at their home stadium. But we grabbed one back to make it 1-1 away from home in Turkey after that absolute screamer from Jasper Karlsson, also another fantastic player. But when we got back to Bologna, Besiktas turned up, and they grabbed a goal to make themselves leaders by 1, with Milo Orashika scoring a screamer. Karlsson did score from the spot to make it 1-1. The game went all the way to extra time to the 120th minute, where sadly Besiktas scored and we were knocked out in the knockout playoff round by Besiktas. Now, we did get a red card in the 11th minute of that match, so it feels even more annoying. Stefan Posch, what did you do? You 2-footed Chamberlain from behind on the edge of the box, you idiot. I don't know why he's done that. It gave us a red card, an 120th minute goal. Our, historical Champions League run ends fairly early, but I'm just happy we got out the league phase. How did we get on in the Italian Cup? Pretty well. We stormed through into the semi-finals after beating Modena and Fiorentina in the 3rd round and the quarter-final, and we drew up against Napoli in a game that I believed we could win. We did go a goal down in just 3 minutes, and Emil Holm and Orsolini linked up down this right-hand side, and Orsolini scored just one of his very many screamers this season, and we did grab a second in this game as well, giving us the upper hand in the away leg, where Napoli did take the lead in just 32 minutes, with Kvaratskhelia finding Matheus Oliveira to make it 2-2 on aggregate, and the game went all the way to extra time when Miranda gets on the ball, finds Jasper Karlsson, Odegaard through to Castro, and he puts us ahead. Surely that's game over, but sadly not. Napoli are going to grab a goal back. Kayuste and Ngonge linking up to find Sambi, and Raspadori pokes it home. The game goes to penalties. As much as I wish I could show you the penalties, they are extremely frustrating on Football Manager, and they don't really work in the highlights. It will never show you the winning or losing penalty, but we did win. We won 5-4 on penalties. Ngonge and Jesus missed for them. Carlson missed for us, and we win, which means we're going to an Italian Cup final. Now, Bologna have only won 2 of these in their illustrious history, and we were looking to make it number 3. And Dan and Doy, again another player who had a great Euro, scores early on to make us 1-0 leaders. Lookman then made it 1-1 for Atlanta, and the game went to extra time. And I don't quite know what happened to us in extra time. We turned into a different beast. Alexei Moranchuk found Orsolini cutting in on that right-hand side and grabbing it to make it 2-1. Bukemia set to the edge. It falls to Urbanski, and Orsolini was there yet again to make it 3-1. And we wanted a 4th as well. Jasper Karlsson beats his man, cuts inside, a deflected effort, 4-1. And Bologna are Italian Cup winners. So I got it right. A trophy in the first season. A decent is showing in the Champions League in this season as well. And in terms of the actual Serie A, we come 5th again, but sadly this season that does not mean Champions League football. We were just 2 points away from the top 4 of Inter Milan. We beat the likes of Juventus, Lazio, Roma, massive teams all below us, but Inter, Atlanta, Milan and Napoli just running away with it. So we're going to be in Europa League football next season, which I don't mind at all, because it means we can also attempt to lift a European trophy in this rebuild rather than just a Serie A. So we've got a lot to see if we can win. In terms of money this season, £22 million to spend, but there is some players we have to talk about. First of all, that man Riccardo Orsolini, 22 goals, 11 assists. As I said, his stats are pretty good. He's playing as a winger on attack. I never really get great results out of it. With this guy, it just works a treat. He is fantastic. Jens Odegaard, 17 and 6. Alexei Moranchuk for 3.4 million. Seems like an absolute steal. 11 goals and 3 assists. Lewis Ferguson from DM, 9 and 7. Is an absolute superstar of a value of £56 million. It's going to be hard to keep hold of him, but I'll try my hardest. Jesper Karlsson off that left-hand side had a decent season as well. Just a 6.89 average rating. 8 goals, 11 assists. Certainly can be improved on. Nicolo Cambiagni, the signing from Atalanta, was decent as our backup striker. 8 goals and 2 assists. Remo Frula played a whole host of games, as well as Stefan Posch, 11 assists for him from that right-back position. No one else really proven to be a superstar other than possibly Emil Holm with 6 assists and 2 goals. Just 6 players above 7 average rating. Our superstar, Orsolini. We're going to try and keep hold of him. He is wanted by AC Milan and Al Ali. We're going to do our very best to make him a Bologna legend, that's for sure. In terms of finances, just being in the Champions League has helped massively. We're not going to see too many youth players come up through the system in this rebuild. I hope it's only going to take me 4 or 5 seasons, so we're not going to see too many people come through. We have had a hot prospect in Daniele Borelli come through. He does look very, very good as a midfielder. To be honest, we're absolutely stacked in midfield, so it's going to be difficult for him to break through, but worth keeping an eye on, that's for sure. 2-star youth recruitment, 4-star youth facilities, 4-star training facilities, and 3.5-star reputation. Bologna really is a club on FM that you can pick up and make, an absolute powerhouse. So as I said, Patreon, you guys can carry on this journey. We might not win the Champions League in this video. You guys can do that over on the Patreon. You can download the file. £22 million to spend. Let's see if we can get some big signings to get back into the Champions League and make us European winners next season. And when it's safe to say there was a couple of big sales which enabled us to go back into the market, including Sam Bukema, who had a decent season last season, just over a 6.8, but certainly could be improved on. He's gone to Saudi, earning 550k a week. I'm sure he's quite happy. And finally, Alexei Moranchuk, a £3.4 million signing, sold for £11 million to Saudi. We've made treble our money we spent on him. He's had a good season. He's 29 years of age, so his value's only going to go down. We can now look for a real youngster to come in that cam role and just take over. And that's what I've done with Mike Trezor. Now, this guy is at Burnley in real life and didn't really flatter to deceive. He looks like a fantastic player on FM, and I genuinely believe, even though FM's telling me 2.5-star player and 2.5-star potential, this guy really could be a 15 goal, 15 assist Cam. He's got all the right stats in the right places. His physicals are very good. He's 5'8". He's a nippy player. He's extremely consistent. Good in big matches. 14 dribbling, 13 first touch, 13 finishing, 15 crossing. If he needs to, he can go out on the left-hand side. Probably on the right-hand side because that's all Celine's. We have managed to keep hold of him. But as our tricky little Cam, I'm excited for Mark Trezor. And what if that doesn't work? I've brought in 24-year-old Pedro de la Vega from Seattle. Now, again, quite a different signing, one that's quite fun. Both signings around £7 million. This guy, again, Cam or left wing, good dribbling, finishing, first touch, physicals, mental stats are decent as well. Doesn't quite have the consistency and doesn't exactly love big matches, but is even-footed, cuts inside from the left wing, could be a great left winger for us for just £7 million. And again, a player which FM isn't really rating in this simulation is Georgios Mikatudze. He's cost us £6 million from FC Metz, and we saw what a great player he was in the Euros for Georgia. And I've done a Georgia Euro simulation where I won the Euros with Georgia. It took me 50 odd attempts, and this guy was incredible. 14 finishing, 15 composure, and decent physical stats. He's only a 2-star current player. I'm not quite sure why. I'm not quite sure how much game time I'll actually get this season because I'm not going to be locking anyone in. We've got a lot of very good rotational players, but when he plays, I'm sure he's going to grab some goals. Our new centre-back to replace Bukemia is Martin Vitek. This guy's cost us £7.5 million from Sparta Prague. Great physical stats. I mean, 16 acceleration, 16 pace at 6'4" is just an absolute joke. 15 heading, 13 marking, 14 tackling as well. This guy's a joke. £7.5 million. Looks to Sparta Prague. They've got Adam Kadabets and Martin Vitek, two incredible wonder kids. This guy, though, probably the pick of the bunch. He is incredible. And our final signing is Mauro Perkovic, a Croatian centre-back / left-back. Hopefully for us, more of a left-back who's consistent, likes big matches, 6'1", 22 years of age. And again, he's just simply fantastic. Great mental stats for a 22-year-old. This guy really could go to the very top yet again. A good Serie A player, close to full potential, but has room to grow. Consistent, likes big matches, tries long-range passes to them long-range diagonals from left-back to Orsolini. Could be absolutely stunning, and hopefully we're going to see some of them in the match highlights. That is our final signing vote, and the team is now looking like so. Mikatudze up front with Odegaard in Cam. I think it's probably more likely going to be Odegaard up front and Mike Trezor in Cam. Carlson, Orsolini, Abshaiker, Ferguson, Perkovic, Lukimi, Vitek, Posh, and Gabara in goal. A very exciting side, and I think we've done quite well finances-wise as well. We sold £35 million of players, brought in 34. Last season, 39, brought in 22. So we're currently operating at a minus 10 million net, which is quite impressive, to be honest. Finances are looking great. Let's get into Season 2 and see if we can lift the almighty Champions League. Not Champions League, Europa League. Sadly, we are going to kick this off with a disappointing note, losing in the quarterfinals in the Italian Cup. To be fair, it was to Inter Milan, but they were just a better side and we're not going to be retaining our Italian Cup trophy. For the league phase, the Europa League went absolutely unbelievably. 8 games, 4 wins against Young Boys, Sparta Rotterdam, Ludogorets and Dunstrada, and 4 draws against Svernia Sevesta, Benfica, Maccabi Tel Aviv and Antwerp. Means we were unbeaten, an 8-goal difference, 16 points, and straight into the round of 16. We faced up against Ludogorets again in the first leg away from home. We won 3-0, were able to play a semi-rotated side for this game, drew 2-2 and won 5-2 on aggregate, which means we're going to the quarters. We would play against Standard Liège of Belgium. Quite a nice draw, if you ask me, and we treat it that way as well. Prosh finds Odegaard in the striking position to make it 1-0 in just 45 minutes, and we are going to grab a second as well. Jens Odegaard is an absolute superstar. The 6'2" man just loves scoring goals. He grabbed 2 in this one, and Orsolini grabbed the third. That long-range effort straight into the bottom corner. 3-0 in this one. It was 1-0 in the second leg as well. So 4-0, we're into the semis. We faced up against the old lady, Juventus, and the first leg away from home at the Allianz Stadium, it was 0-0. And as you can see from the stats, a very even game. And well, despite a stupid red card from Starman Orsolini, we did manage to win the game 1-0 thanks to Arbstriker with an absolute screamer from the edge of the box, found in the top corner and making Bologna Europa League finalists. And it would be Danish powerhouses FC Copenhagen standing in our way. Again, it's got to be said, quite a nice final. Dan and Doi scores in 12 minutes to make it 1-0, and Perkovic slots it through to Jesper Karlsson, who grabs the second of the game past Nathan Trott, who was just breakdancing in the middle of the box there, to be honest. Copenhagen did grab a goal back from a great wonder kid himself in William Clem, but that was all they could do. It was a 2-1 victory, and Bologna are now European champions. It's the Europa League, but it's still a pretty massive competition, and for a club like Bologna, who have never won European trophies, that is massive. The first ever one coming back to Bologna. Can we lift the Serie A? No, we can't, but an incredibly impressive season where there's going to be 6 teams from Italy in the Champions League. Because of the coefficient rankings of us winning that, there's now another spot available, and Lazio in 5th are going to grab it. In 6th, us on 70 points. Still a pretty damn good season considering how many games we played. We're in 6th place, 70 points, 14 on facing Milan, but not too bad. I'm still quite happy, still above the likes of Juventus and Roma, really becoming a new big side in Italy and staking our claim for that spot as well. And the superstars this season, well, we loaned out Nicolo Cambiaghi. He was pretty good, 21 goals, 11 assists at Al-Tai over in Saudi. He's joining them permanently. Just showed maybe our system wasn't right for him, but a pretty good player, that's for sure. Orsolini, 21 goals and 12 assists. The guy is an absolute joke. 21 and 12 is mental, and he's 29 years of age now. I just can't bring myself to sell him. He's so good. I mean, he's an absolute legend. 7 caps for Italy now with 4 goals. He's carrying on that goal-scoring run there. Jens Odgaard, 21 and 6. And there's a man you'll see here that I proved myself right with. 21 goals, 9 assists for Mike Trezor. His stats are not outrageous. They are not game-breakingly good. But Mike Trezor is fantastic in the match engine. I just don't know why. A 7.2 average rating. What a player. He has been simply incredible and replaced Alexei Moranchuk and much more in one season. Another man that was very good this season was Dan Ndoi, 10 goals and 5 assists. Jesper Karlsson, 7 and 10. Pedro de la Vega in the games he played, a 7 average rating, 6 goals, 4 assists, coming over from Seattle, incredibly impressive. Miranda doing very well as well, 7 assists. Mikatudzi, as sort of mentioned, when he played, I thought he'd be very good. He did grab 5 goals in just 11 starts and 13 off the bench. Just for some reason, isn't really rated in this save. I don't quite know why. He's normally quite a good little player, but I imagine next year he's going to get a massive boost. I believe he's just joined Monaco. Might be Lyon. I can't quite remember where he's gone, but he's just moved from Metz to a bigger side, which is great for him, and I think he's going to be a fantastic player in the future as well. So excited to see what he can do. Money-wise, 27 million in the bank. Finances are looking pretty damn good. Let's get into season 3. We're going to push for that Serie A trophy. And then when I'm sure the free agent signing of cover star Ivan Toney is certainly going to help out in that regard. An unbelievable striker that we know can score goals from anywhere on the pitch. He's 30 years of age, but of incredible consistency, loves big matches. This guy is going to be fantastic in Italian football. 6'2", can hold it up. And if we get a penalty, 20 out of 20, it's a guaranteed goal. We also have a brand new right back to replace Emil Holm. It's Filippi Terracino from Torino, a very good attacking 23-year-old right back with great consistency. Again, a very good player, good physicals, good crossing and dribbling, which is great on our wing backs with great defensive stats as well. Excited to see what he can do. Brand new DM in Ruslan Litnov comes in to replace Arbshaik, who's getting on a little bit now. So this guy comes in and he's absolutely fantastic. Incredible consistency. Doesn't quite like big matches, but I mean, hopefully he can get past that in the games that he does play. He dictates tempo, marks opponents tightly, and a great work rate, concentration, aggressive, bravery, stamina, a real workhorse in that DM position. And finally, our left winger, Ezekiel Zeballos from Boca. 16 pace, 16 acceleration, 16 flair, great crossing, great dribbling, costing us just £10 million. It's our most expensive signing of the rebuild so far, 10.25 million. I think we've done quite well keeping the finances down here and being, to be fair, pretty realistic as an underdog side, which is pretty cool. He cuts inside from the left wing, which is where he'll be playing definitely. He is consistent, not great in big matches, and a little bit injury prone, but if he stays fit, will be a superstar. In terms of outgoings, there wasn't anyone massive. Carlson left for 12 million to Al Ali, but other than that, a pretty chilled window. And again, 16 out, 26 in. We're about breaking even on transfers over 3 seasons. Tactics-wise, the team, Toney up top, Odegaard in cam, down. Orsolini on the right, Zeballos on the left. Again, though, we've got the likes of De La Vega, Mike Trezor, Dan Ndoye, and Mukatudzi as backups. Litnov and Ferguson in DM is great, especially with our backups being Fabian, who is a great young DM who, for some reason, I just haven't managed to progress that much in this save, but could be fantastic. And Arb Scheiker as well. Tarasinho on the right back position with Perkovic on the left back position. Again, Prosh and Miranda with them. With Vitek, Lushimi, and Gabara in goal. With De Winter, Holm, and Bangoli as the backups in centre back and in goal. The team's looking very, very strong. We are predicted this season to come down in 8th place, which I think is an absolute joke. We have done miles better than that in every single season. I think this season we can really push into this sort of maybe just behind Napoli, Inter, and AC Milan, but above Juventus again. Coming in 3rd, 4th position. I'll be very, very happy with that. Of course, this season we are back in the Champions League, back in the Italian Cup, and of course, another Super Cup as well, which is pretty fun against Madrid. Should we see if we can win that one first? I'm going to tell you what, if this has got anything to do with this season, we are going to be lights out good. An unbelievable there from Mike Trezor, another screamer from Orsolini to make it 1-0. And we're going to grab a second as well against the Real Madrid side with Florian Wirtz, Musiala, and Kylian Mbappe in it. We've beat them 2-0. A second there from home. And we were actually a very, very good side, having just battered one of the best teams I've ever seen. But jumping further into the season, we have more Italian Cup heartbreak after losing 2-1 on aggregate to Juventus, who didn't even go the way. They lost to Inter in the final 2-0, which is heartbreaking stuff. So far, just the one Italian Cup trophy, which we did win against Atalanta. So, you know, not the end of the world. Inter keeping their dominance up. We're just a little bit in the middle as a Bologna sandwich of Inter Milan bread. But a decent trophy to, well, a decent showing, I suppose, again, into the semi-finals. Sadly, not winning it again, though. And it's got to be said, the Champions League as well was incredibly, incredibly tough. We just about snuck through with 9 points, just thanks to a goal difference, which was 0. 3 wins against Fenerbahce, AEK, and Besiktas, but losses to Frankfurt, Feyenoord, Chelsea, Benfica, and Napoli. All of them by a goal, except for Chelsea and Napoli, which was 2 and 3. But Benfica, Feyenoord, and Frankfurt, very close games. Just 1 point in them would pretty much have put us in 20th, and 2 would have put us in 18th. So, yeah, you know, not the greatest of showings, but not bad. We are going to go to the knockout playoff round of the Champions League. We are going to face against Italian giants Napoli. Now, this is a side we are certainly competing for in the Serie A as well. And Orsolini got us off to a pretty good start there as he got us 1-0 up. But Napoli are going to come back. Terracino brings them down, but it falls to their star man, Kvaratskhelia, and he makes it 1-1. We are going to leave Bologna's home stadium 2-1 winners and set up a very important second leg away from home at Napoli. But quite frankly, we got quite unlucky. Now, the scoreline doesn't say that at all, 4-1. I understand that. But we took it all the way to extra time and then conceded 2 goals thanks to a 92nd goal from Zambo Anguissa and a 106th own goal from Perkovic. Now, the scoreline is disgusting, of course, but stats in the game and actually looking into the goals and when they were scored, etc., we were very, very unlucky with our star centre-back getting injured in just 30 minutes as well, which is a little bit gutting. So, sadly, the Champions League isn't coming back to Bologna this season, but to be honest, I think it's going to be a little bit early anyway. Let's have a look at our Serie A form. Well, we got off to an unbelievable start with 6 wins in a row against Genoa, Roma, Inter, Venezia, and Fiorentina, and Brescia, actually. 6 in a row is a lot of teams to remember to keep trying to say. We had a bit of a dodgy October, drawing to Cremonese and losing to Napoli, beating Sampdoria and drawing to Lazio. We then lost to AC Milan, but beat Juventus, Torino, and Salento. We carried on a decent run of form after losing to Atalanta. We then went on 6 games unbeaten again, beating Brianza, drawing to Empoli, beating Udinese, Sassuolo, Roma, and Genoa, with a tight 1-0 loss to Inter Milan to end January. We bounced back from that though with a 5-2 victory over Venezia, draws against Fiorentina and Brescia before beating Cremonese. We lost 5-0 to Napoli and then beat Sampdoria 2-0 and lost 4-3 to Lazio, which was absolutely mental. And we carried on the rest of the form of the season pretty damn good as well, winning every single game, including games against Juve, AC Milan, Salento, Atalanta, Brianza, Empoli, Udinese, Sassuolo. And you won't quite believe what happened from there. We were tied level on points with Napoli, which means in Italy you go into a 2-legged affair to see who wins the title, which is so fun. I mean, we've lost from the Champions League. We lost them 5-0 in the league earlier on as well. We got 1-0 leaders in this one before Anguissa scored to make it 1-1. But that was the away leg, and we brought it back to the Bologna stadium, and we ran out 1-0 winners thanks to Mike Trezor scoring to make it 2-1 on aggregate. And we are Serie A winners from a playoff position. Now, we actually deserved it. We had better goal difference. But Napoli, it's just what happens in Italy, I guess, when you become level on points. You go into this awesome playoff at the end, which adds so much excitement. A little bit anticlimactic with a 2-1 and a 1 goal in the second game. But overall, a very exciting season, and we just about pipped Napoli to the title, and Bologna are Serie A winners yet again. The first time since 1964. Absolute scenes. Bologna back on top in Italy, and now people on Patreon, and if you want to pick the save up, you have a real foundation to build a powerhouse. £66 million in the bank with pretty much no debt whatsoever. A squad now full of absolute superstars. Odegaard with 23, Trezor with 20, Ceballos 13 and 12, Orsini 11 and 16, Dan and Doy 10 and 6, De La Vega 8 and 5, Miranda 7 and 11. There is someone on this list that you've not seen just yet. He's the cover star. I'll put him on the cover because he might get some more clicks. To be honest, he scored 1 goal, he's got 2 assists, and started just 1 game. He's probably the best player to put on the cover. So apologies if you baited in, thinking Ivan Toney's going to score 60 goals over 2 seasons. He was pretty naff, to be honest, at 31 years of age. But we move. Bologna are Serie A champions. We've won a European trophy and an Italian Cup. Thank you so much for watching. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll speak to you next time.